Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hey, hey, folks, this is Freedom Fighter. Sorry, let me put my notifications on silent so there's no interruptions. I noticed that there's quite a few questions about several things. I know that many people are confused, Delarue machines, Zims, so forth and so on. And I see that we're getting quite a few questions on different things. I know we have some new members in the room. Our seasoned members are already educated. They've already seen the facts. They already know what's going on. So one thing here in the room we pride ourselves in doing is in making sure that we accept people with open arms if you're willing to learn and become educated, and so that you're prepared for your exchange properly with the proper expectations, and not be so tied up with a lot of information that's been put out in Dinar land that may not be so accurate. So a lot of it may have been from people that have well intentions but just putting out the wrong information. And we pride ourselves in showing people the facts. For those that have been following for quite some time, everything that Goldilocks shares, Wiley, myself, Jester, everything is backed up with actual data to be able to prove it to you. And then if there is not any specific data, well, we can do our best to make sure that we provide you with the information and knowledge to understand. So there's quite a few questions. And for those that are sending me DMs right now, you can please join the room live. I'm getting a lot of DMs asking questions about currencies and different things. I'll greatly appreciate it if you can come on to the live. 1 second. Julie, I'm sending you a DM. Please, folks, before sending DMs, please ask for any members, anyone in the room, if you can send a DM, because it can get very convoluted, and we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to learn, because some people may have the same questions that you're asking in DM. So, all right. Ani, I know you had a question on Delarue machines. We can clarify that. Some of you have questions on Zims. We can clarify that. This is an impromptu call, so let's just go ahead and get a lot of these questions out. I know Adrian Adendorf, you had some questions. Trish needs some questions and clarity. Also, if it comes to bank establishing relationships with wealth managers, we might want to go ahead and get that taken care of. Okay, Julie, you don't know how to. Julie, if you come into the Goldilocks QFS, you may not be able to hear me. 1 second. Okay. All right. So folks, let's go ahead and my good brother, and actually the man of the hour who actually got me out of the old room and promoted me and showed me a lot of the ropes. He's here with us, Wiley, and we'll do what we can, folks, to help clarify some stuff for you. So, Ani, do you want to unmute? If you can unmute.
I'm unmuted.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Doing great, thank you.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you for your question, by the way. And this is why, folks, we like for the questions to be asked in the room so others can learn. I know some of the questions y'all be asking in the room. I wish you didn't and would DM. But Ani, I know you had some questions about De La Rue machines and stuff like that. So go ahead and ask your question. So, and this call is being recorded, so this will be helpful to others. So ask your question. Go ahead, and let's
Oh,
rock and roll.
where I live, we're a fairly large city, but we have tier one banks, but none of them are large enough where I feel like I can go in and do my currency exchange. Um, when I go in to check the wealth management, I find very little. And so I'm just not comfortable here. But I always thought you had to go to a bank where they had a Delarue machine, but I could be wrong on that. I know that I can go like 2 hours away, and they've got a tier one bank there that does do currency exchange because I had saw it on their website.
Hmm.
So I'm just, I for myself, I know that I'm going to go with a private wealth manager. I had talked
Hmm.
to a couple yesterday,
Hmm.
and I'm going to meet with them. And
Hmm.
they've also invited me to go on their client dinner boat cruise on Thursday night. So,
Okay. That's okay. All right. So now,
but I'm just not sure where to go to do my actual exchange.
okay. I think I hear everything that you're trying to accomplish, and so let me make sure I get it right so I can properly respond to you. So you're concerned about a tier one bank that has a Delarue machine, yes or no?
Well, not so much a Delarue machine, but just a tier one bank that will be able to do currency exchange.
Okay, so you mentioned Delarue machine as well. You
Well,
said
because I had
so.
saw that in an earlier
Okay,
posting, and
where?
yes, I
Not here.
earlier today.
Right, but okay, so let's get straight to it. Delarue machines, as far as, and I want to make sure, because in this room, about coming from any one of us as admins, did we mention anything about Delarue machines?
No, sir, you have not.
Now, the reason being is because
The
Delarue
screw
machines,
room,
right? So we're going into a digital banking system.
right?
Right now, people do exchanges of currency every day, all day long, whether
Right,
they're at a currency exchange place, at an airport, in your local city, or at a bank with no
correct,
Delarue machines.
correct. I
They're not. uh, They're not. They're not even like, I bought my currency and I exchange it. Whatever. There's no Delarue machine
Well, that is true because I have done it at the airport before.
and no Delarue machine, because the Delarue machine is for, of course, authenticating a currency. That is, Delarue machines were prevalent in the old traditional banking system.
Okay.
We're moving into the new digital banking system, whereby, for example, have you ever um, deposited U.S. dollars cash in an ATM machine at your bank?
Yes.
How do they authenticate that U.S. dollar currency?
I, I really don't know how. I guess just
No
through
Delarue machine, right?
no, just through the bank.
So just the same as you will take your physical currency of whatever country into the bank,
Hmm.
everything is digitized, beloved. The serial numbers are tracked. Everything on that, when you they're going to they're going to authenticate your currency at the bank when they deposit it. It's in a digital system now. The
Okay.
old traditional system, you're absolutely 100% correct. A Delarue machine was necessary for authenticating certain currencies.
Okay, but when you say all I have to do is go into a bank, is that any bank or
Nope,
the
not at all.
tier?
Nope, nope.
I mean, because I have.
Let me help you. Let me help you. Relax. Hold on. Get tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 55, tier
Okay.
102. Get that out of your mind.
Okay.
That is another part of the foo-foo because people got confused with these tiers. All you need is a bank right now. It can be a credit union that currently does currency exchange. A credit union is not a tier 1 bank, but they do currency exchanges. I'm not
Right.
saying all credit unions. I'm just saying it could be a credit. It could be a mid-level bank. It doesn't have to be a big bank, quote unquote tier 1.
So as long as they do currency exchange, they would be able to
Exchange
do
currency.
our changes.
If they do currency exchanges now, what would be different than our exchanges?
Okay. Okay. This is all making sense now. I can just go
Hmm.
into any branch that does currency exchange and they will be able to help me.
If they do it now,
They will be able to do it next year
exactly.
sometime.
It's just a simple exchange, my beautiful lady.
Okay.
It's just where you're going to park your money at that time when it's exchanged.
Okay.
What you do with your money from that point forward, once it's in your account, if you move it to spread it out and diversified in 5 or 6 different credit unions, small banks, whatever, you have your wealth manager and your wealth management team that you've already got in place, and you put it with them wherever it may be.
Okay.
That's total. You have that total control and that total power to do that yourself. But I don't want you to overcomplicate this process on finding a
Well,
because
and
I
that's
want it to be as simple because I want to make sure that you understand it's a lot simpler for you than you
yeah.
realize.
I do understand now. I can go into any location that is doing foreign currency exchange now, exchange my currency, and everybody will be happy.
Right. But now the key is if you want to establish a relationship at that particular location, if they have wealth management or not.
Right.
That's a different story. Now, unless you want to establish a relationship at a location that has wealth management and private client representatives to help with, maintaining and growing your wealth, and that particular location that does currency exchanges but has wealth management and private clients, that's a whole nother level of establishing a relationship too. And that's
Right.
easy. It's
And
not difficult.
they told me that they would have more to offer as what a bank does.
Hmm.
And he is
Right. That's true.
he is a lawyer, and
Hmm.
he's dealt with trust, and he knows about the or the tax side of it. And
Excellent.
because
Excellent.
I went down the list, I said I know you can do this and this, and it seems like you checked all the boxes that I
Hmm.
was looking for, that I know that that I'll need. And he says, yeah, he
Hmm.
says, I can do all of that. Because
Hmm.
he goes, and I can reach out to other people to help.
Hmm. Excellent. Excellent. But he's right. If he is at uh a financial institution, where does he work? Is he private or he works
No,
at a
he's private. He has
okay,
his
he's
own.
private.
He
Hmm.
has his own, and he is on the FINRA.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, well, I checked that, and
Hmm.
they said, yeah. And he said, the best thing about us, we have no marks. And I said, where a lot of the people here in this area does. And I
Hmm.
said,
Hmm.
yeah. I said, I noticed that.
That's good. You did your homework. Congratulations.
Thank you, Willie.
Yeah, you did an amazing job. So now also there's nothing wrong with you exchanging your currency at whatever bank that you so
Okay.
choose, and then there's nothing wrong with having this private institution and others that you may diversify as well to manage your wealth. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Yeah, and I feel real comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Wiley, did you want to add anything here? I know.
Hey, can you hear me, Freedom?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, not. I mean, everything told Annie was great. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. If I can, I'd like to take people back a little bit in history where the De La Rue Guru Fufu started.
Please do.
So I want to take you guys back almost 20 years when this all first started, and I was working with a group when we first got started, and it was just Dinar. We were working with a local bank, and we were told by some people inside the bank that the bank was going to make their high net worth clients whole because they had bought counterfeit currency. And they were going to use some of the currency that myself and our group was going to bring in and wash it with the bad currency and then tell us ours was no good.
Mm-hmm.
We demanded a De La Rue. We demanded some form of currency count and authentication in front of us. That had permeated into the Dinar sphere or the internet, and it became gospel. So all these people who had no idea what was going on, and these people who were a part of this early group were saying all this on the internet, and it has since been washed and recycled and washed again, that most people saying it have no clue what they're talking about. And they're using it for fear in this community. And it's very disingenuous. Yeah, a De La Rue machine, all it does is count and validate your currency. I go to my local credit union. I walk in with my currency. They take it. They run it across the street. They come back. Mr. Morgan, here's what you had. Oh, okay, thanks. And I joke with them. Hey, do I need to get an account with them too? Nope, we got an agreement with them. We'll just run it over there and take care of it for you, Mr. Morgan. Thank you very much.
Willie.
Don't get hung up on the little things. The bank will take care of you in whatever means and manner they need to.
Okay, thank you. Do you know I'm just going to say the largest credit union that's in the U.S., that's all over in other countries? Do they let non-members do currency exchange there?
No, you're asking me if a credit union will let you do a currency exchange?
Right. Because I know we have one here, their home office has been located from Virginia to here now. And they are a defense credit union. And I know that they do foreign currency exchange there, but I'm not a member there because I have no connection to the military.
Yeah, most banks would want you to have an account or something there before they do that business with you. They're not just. I mean, most businesses are in. Banks are a business. Let's not forget that.
Right.
And they want your business, so they're obviously going to try to get you to set up an account before they would do that for you.
Yeah, but they won't let me set up an account because I don't have no way to get on to. Unless they have a private, but I don't think they do.
Typically, if you're not a member of the bank, you will not be able to exchange your currency there.
Yeah, that's correct. Why you guys are saying that we need to go in and open up an account there. Okay, and I know there's no way of that.
And I know that this was discussed previously, Ani, that people were going to these different banks and setting up accounts, and they were spending money month after month after month to have an account.
For fees.
Yeah. And you need to look at that too. You need to get to some of these places that have no fee banking, can do your exchange for you, possibly may have some wealth management. You don't have to go to a bank for wealth management. There's thousands of firms out there that's all they do.
Right.
It's just easier if it's in a bank. That's all we've said. But there's many different ways you can go about that. We're really just trying to give people the confidence to start this journey for themselves. And so you forget about the freedom fighters and the Wileys and the guru fufus of the world, and you've empowered yourself to take your financial destiny into your own hands, and you can become successful for yourself versus what all this you've heard out there for years. We're just trying to help you get there and give you that confidence of like, take these initial steps. I'd love to say that we're going to hold your hand forever on this, but that would be a lie. That won't be the case.
No, I know you're not going to hold my hand forever.
Right. I mean, we got things that, I got things that I do every day that I work on. And I mean, if I could, I'd love to lead you all that way, but I just don't have that kind of bandwidth. So that's why we're trying to give you everything we can now. And it feels overwhelming. You've got all this coming at you. You're trying to learn what we're giving you from Goldilocks, and now we're giving you some homework per se.
Right. And it seems like, you think you're pretty well got yourself understanding it, and then somebody will come in and ask a question, and then you're confused again.
And that's where we're here to help keep it straight.
Yeah. Okay. I'm straight now, so I know the path that I need to take.
Hey, see, Ani, you know what would be so amazing? And this is something that Wiley talks about very heavily in my discussions with him, and we're in the same mindset, is for someone like you as a student to go through this process, learn what you need to learn, and come back and teach someone else.
Well, I've got my family to teach, and so I got plenty to teach.
Yeah.
But I've got to be able to know what the heck I'm teaching.
Exactly. And that's why you're here, and that's why you're asking the questions, and we're helping you. And when it comes to people asking confusing questions in the room that further confuse you, just know sometimes there are people coming in the room to do that intentionally.
Okay.
So that's why when it's best to, and it's just the unfortunate reality of having an open room where people just come in and, they want to post things in the room, and we try to make sure we keep a cap on that stuff. But that's why you allow it to be from us that you ask these questions and get the answers from, so that we can help you.
Well, I appreciate all your help. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. No problem at all. You have any more questions, or you're
that's
pretty
it.
straight?
No, I'm great. So go on to the next question. There's more.
And Ani, what we say is not dedicated to just you. Sure, it fits your situation, but this is for everybody. And where I know I get the most frustrated is where you get confused because there's people out there sowing confusion. And when we try to undo some of that, we realize that it's a bit of a Pandora's box that we're going to get feedback on a lot of this, because it's undoing and unlearning some things that people have ingrained as beliefs.
Well, you guys are doing a wonderful job, and I thank you.
Yeah, we're happy to help you.
Quite welcome. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself and go to the next question.
All right, no problem. All
Didn't
right.
you just have me doing a call with you last week?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah, Fisher of man. Yeah, you.
Wasn't me. I don't know how this happened. How did I get you on this call? All right. Who has a question? Raise your hand, or else I'm just going to go straight to the people that were in the room with comments and questions. So if you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand.
Freedom, you had made mention of Adrian and someone else.
Okay. Thank you so much, beloved. Adrian. All right. And I see Fossey Girl has her hand up. Okay, Adrian, we'll come right to you. Okay, no, Adrian, you're unmuted. So then Fossey Girl will come to you next. Go ahead, Adrian.
Good evening, Freedom Fighter, and to all the other people there from South Africa. Obviously, it's morning there by you. I just saw in your room that the lady mentioned about the Zim notes that she's got a problem with. But are we talking about the bearer bonds, or are we talking about the ordinary notes that was declared null and void? That's my question that I've got.
Okay, just to make sure I understand, I heard your question clearly. You're asking about the Zim bonds, correct?
That's correct, yes, Freedom Fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Zim bonds were demonetized. What was it, 2008, Wiley?
Well, can I chime in here real quick?
Absolutely.
Are we talking about currency or bonds?
Mm-hmm.
Because the currency is defunct. And in 2008, they issued bonds, 1, 5, 10, and 20. That was the denominations of the bonds. Everything else was currency.
What I'm talking about is the 100 billion.
That's currency. That's defunct.
Special agro bonds.
That's dead. It was demonetized in 2009. Both of those were. Then they came out with the ZWN. That currency failed. Then they came out with the ZIG, backed up by gold, and they're struggling to keep it afloat. Their GDP for the entire country right now is only around 26.3 billion. How are they going to pay people millions of dollars when they're still trying to get their economy afloat? They're still trying to get their currency to iron out. It's the biggest lie this community's ever told its audience. Little bit of research shows Zimbabwe will never revalue that currency. It is a novelty item only. And up until 2015, they were still paying people 40 cents per $1 trillion note. And since that, they've done away with it altogether. Anybody just needs to travel through that country and see that people use it to burn to keep their houses warm. The only reason it has any measurable meaning right now is gurus on the internet told people it's going to be worth something, and these people that acquired it are selling it for huge numbers. Supply equals demand. If we demand it, somebody's going to find it and fill it and sell it probably for more than what it's truly worth, and that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I've got what you've said to me. Just now I'm a bit confused because I deal directly with MCT, and they operate direct with the DOD from America, and we've got all these special agro checks that's registered with MCT in America, and they operate, as I say, directly with the DOD in America. So I don't know. That's a bit confusing for me at this stage.
And what's the DOD giving you for an agro check?
At this stage, we don't have any figures as yet. We're still waiting on what it's going to be after or around about the tabletop meeting that we're going to have, because we don't have redemption centers in South Africa. We've got a tabletop meeting where you've got a one-on-one meeting with the paymaster.
There's a lot there to unwind that I don't have all the information to.
Yeah, I think, Adrian, let me help you. I think I know what you're implying. Are you? So what you're talking about is trading on. You're talking about a trading platform. Now, the reason why you don't have no figures is because there are no figures.
Yeah.
There are no figures. You're talking about a trading platform dealing with direct. You're talking about dealing with the DoD. What's your title?
Okay, I'm just a private person. Okay, we all bought these bonds and we registered them through the platform of MCT.
That when you said MCT, I knew exactly what you were talking about. And I'll be very honest with you. based on my previous and in-depth experience with platforms and MCTs, I knew when you mentioned MCT, you were talking about a platform. If I was, I'll say it like this. And the reason why I asked you what your title is because because and you mentioned that you were a private individual, because only someone with a specific title, and I won't say it on this call, only someone with a specific title can legitimately operate on those platforms, not private individuals.
Yes.
Okay. So
you see, what we do is, sorry, Freedom Fighter, carry on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
So what we've done is we all send our bonds in that we've got on hand. We register them on a document. We send that document. You keep your bonds on hand. You send it into, they register it directly with the offices in the USA. And it's on the platform. It's all registered there. And now we're just waiting for the pension date to arrive.
How long have you been waiting?
I keep on buying.
When did you start? When did you start buying?
About a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, about 14 or 15 months ago.
And so what are you waiting for?
Okay, for the RV now to take place.
Right. But now on the platform, there are forecasted numbers and you don't have any. They're not showing you any numbers. And the reason why I'm saying that they're, go ahead.
We've got a speculation value at this stage on a 100B, a special agro check for about 33 million.
Let me tell you something. probably 90+% of these trading platforms, and there are some that are legit, well, 90% of them with a bunch of intermediaries and middlemen in different countries, 90% of them are not real.
Yes.
There's a ton of intermediaries, brokers on levels. They collect bonds. They collect collateralized debt obligations. They collect various assets from people, and they claim to be connected in the U.S. and with these bonds and with these paymasters, all these different things. As clear as I am talking to you, and as you hear my voice, and I'm only speaking through experience, sir, majority of this is not legitimate. Because especially when I asked you your title, I was being very strategic.
Yeah. Yes.
And
because most of us on the platform, most of us are private individuals. There's no businesses or stuff like that.
And that now you really confirmed what my thoughts were. I'm just going to say this, and we're going to move on to the next to your next question. We don't want to belabor this particular topic because this is probably 99% of the people on this call are not familiar with what you're talking about. But I would encourage you to use your discernment.
Yes.
Use your discernment. You seem like a very seasoned, wise gentleman. Just proceed with caution. That's all I'll say.
Okay. No, 100%.
Okay, my good man. All right.
Thanks a lot.
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that. Thanks. Good night.
You're welcome.
And enjoy the day to the rest of the people. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right.
Things like that are heartbreaking for me to hear because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know people that have been taken in these pseudo intermediaries that say they can do this kind of stuff and they can't, and then some people have actually given cash only to have the intermediary disappear and never be able to do anything. Or some of those intermediaries run packets together, shop them all over the internet, and they're out there everywhere. So then when they do hit a legitimate platform, the platform's saying, we're not going to touch it.
Yep, because the funds are not even legitimate or coming from illegitimate sources or individuals that are not, on the up
And
and
like
up.
you said, there's 15 different brokers in the pipeline, all with their hand out, trying to take a percentage, what nobody can verify as fact or real or where the funds truly initiated.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck on this. You and I can talk about this for days. But
Yeah, we have some serious experience with stuff like that, but
yeah.
All right, folks. All right. Oh, and I'm sorry, Fossy girl, you can unmute. I think you were next.
Hi guys. I have two quick questions. I'm on my break at work, so I'm trying to make this fast. I
Okay,
too
let's
did
hurry up.
get sucked into the Agro check and the Zim, and thanks for clarifying that for me and my husband both. Two quick questions. I'm doing a little research trying to find a wealth manager. I found a group, a brother and sister in Minneapolis who have a high net worth group, fiduciary group. Would it behoove me to find a wealth manager at a bank? I mean, do they have fiduciaries at the bank? Would a bank actually be, have somebody that is invested for you or for the bank? That's what I'm confused about. Or would it be better to find a wealth manager that is a fiduciary that's private? Just long-term wealth management, I'm speaking, not redemption-wise. That makes sense. You with me?
Yeah. Yeah. Wiley, you can take that. I know that's your wheelhouse for sure.
A fiduciary, I don't want to get hung up in the term. That's just somebody that's going to be working on your best behalf.
Right.
Right.
And would a
And inside
bank
the
do
bank,
that if the bank is an
yes.
employee? If that, okay.
Yes.
Um,
They have to work on your
okay.
behalf. Just be mindful they work for the bank, right? But they are working on your
Right.
best behalf, because without you, you're not going to be there, and you'll ultimately remove your money from the bank. You'll remove it from the wealth management. So they're going to take you serious. They're going to help you in everything they can do. Now, don't get so
Okay.
stuck there as you grow. There's going to come a point you'll outgrow that wealth manager. That's what happened to
Got
me.
it. Okay, next quick question. So there's a Wells Fargo bank by me, and there's a Chase Morgan a little bit farther away. And I know, I think the Wells Fargo does have a private client level on this bigger bank setting. I mean, who do I pick? Which one would you guys go to? I don't, as I'm kind of like, okay, if I go to a local Chase Morgan and I do some investigating there a little bit further, that particular branch doesn't have a wealth management necessarily.
That's what you want. You want to.
Okay.
If you're going to look out Chase, you don't want a regular branch. You want one that has a wealth management.
Okay. And so, do you guys have any feel about which one you would go to? If a Wells Fargo has private banking in their building and they're closer, does it matter which one? If the Chase is farther away.
Well, me personally, and I'll just to help you, because I see where you're trying to get. If it was me, freedom fighter, me personally, just me, I wouldn't go with Wells Fargo, but that's just me.
Okay.
Not to say they're bad or anything like that, but between the two, that's
you go
answer.
Chase. Okay. Okay, great.
I concur with that, because Wells Fargo did not have any wealth management for a long period of time until maybe about 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, they acquired Abbott Downey.
Okay.
And that's what they brought into their fold to have a. Go ahead. You go ahead.
One more quick question, and I gotta run. Excuse me. Okay, I'm thinking about the tax stuff because I know Goldilocks has a bunch of new stuff coming out on it. That's really interesting. My brain is kind of going to, if we're moving into kind of a new government, I'm just thinking hypothetically. I don't have any obviously firm information on this, but in my mind, I'm going, okay, if we're going to, limited taxing and a new, the power is going back to the people, limited, smaller government. I mean, what are we doing here then, taxing the people that are doing? I know we're.
Fossey, I think we lost you, or you might have hit mute on your phone.
Okay, am I here?
There you go.
Hello? Okay, sorry. My phone went quiet. I'm just thinking about taxing, going into a new form of government that's limited government, power back to the people. taxes are coming down for everybody. What would you guys assume would be in that setting a normal? I mean, are we going to be dropping the taxes down from, them ripping us off completely of our gains in half to something that is fair? Or what are your thoughts on how to prepare for that in my mind? Like what percentage? Any ideas?
I don't think we can come up with a percentage. I would just encourage you to seek your tax professionals.
Got it. Okay.
That's
and plan for the worst, 40 to 50%. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, oh God, what do we, here we go again. Are we getting away from that?
Well, yeah, yeah. And there's alternatives. So there's legal alternatives to maximize your returns related to taxes. But you have to do your own research. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I got to run. I appreciate you so much. I am so glad I found you. And this is like
You're
a huge, the Zim and the Agro checks. I mean, we got sucked into that guru foo-foo crap too, and we bought a bunch of them. And I'm sitting at home in my safe, and like, what do I do with this shit now? And my husband and I have thought, well, great, Mark Z is saying this and that. I mean, whatever. I guess at this point, anything above what we have is a blessing.
Exactly.
But thanks for clarifying it.
It's a collectible, and you'll probably get more than you paid for it as a collectible.
Yeah, hopefully.
But you're pretty sharp, so I know you and your husband have diversified. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we have. Thanks, guys, so much. God bless you both, and for all you're doing. All right, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hey, can I touch on the tax thing loosely there,
Yes.
Freedom? What you talk about?
Please do.
I'd like to talk to everybody listening to this right now. This is where we're building our circle of influence. You get that banker, you get that wealth manager, you go find yourself a tax attorney or a CPA that can help you. Your wealth manager is going to be able to help you with this a little bit to mitigate, but you truly need all these people to start setting them up in your corner so you start seeing the alternatives that are available to you legally, because taxes are just a part of life. If that changes in the future, that changes in the future. We have to deal with what the regulations are today, not what we wish, not what people are saying, not what we want.
Right.
So we work within the confines of the laws and the things we can and cannot do. Seek professional advice in these areas. Never try doing this alone at this level. That's what I wanted to stress, Freedom.
I appreciate it. Absolutely. You're on the money. Thank you. All right. Trish, I know you had a ton of questions. No, I'm just kidding, Trish, but go ahead. You can unmute, Trish.
Oh, not Trish. I got to go.
You got to go? Hold on. I'm behind you, right? I'm right behind you. Lady E, you can man the door. Here comes Trish.
Oh, Lord. How y'all doing?
Doing well, Trish.
Doing good.
Good. Okay, so we all know my question, and Freedom Fighter, I did put it in your DM because I thought that's where you wanted. So I'm back out in public again.
No, but I would love for you, because you're so sweet. I appreciate you. If you can ask the question again in the room, and then you can omit the names of the banks out, because this will help other people too that may have the same.
Hey, just a minute. Sorry, guys.
I believe Trish is an MRI tech, and she's probably got somebody cooking in there.
Oh man, they're gonna be. I need to get in a burning emoji. Someone burning it.
So I hope I wasn't too rough on the old boy about the Zim from South Africa.
No,
I apologize, but it's just, man, I get so mad at these gurus for sucking those people in and spending money they shouldn't have.
I know. Yeah. And the hope people have, just the hope that it's true and hope that it's real. And my concern is that those folks have just invested in Zim only. Wow, there's so many people that they have not diversified.
I know some people that called me and said, hey, we sold all our other currency and we went all in on Zim.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Now, I know you had...
And I basically said, lose my number. That's what he said. Because I don't want to be around when that firestorm comes down.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned, and I hope I'm not stepping out of line and mentioning this, but you had mentioned the possibility of a particular guru many years ago that started that Zim talk, and it just caught legs, and every other person.
They told everybody it was going to be a dark horse or a white knight in this whole thing, and they better invest in it because it's really going to take off. Now, mind you, they said that prior to 2008, before it ever became demonetized.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then since then, it was demonetized in 2008. Everybody had to reconcile their books. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact dates because it's been so long since I read it, but they had until a certain date in 2009 to reconcile all their accounts. And then the ZWN started coming into play. And then up until 2015, they were offering 40 cents per $1 trillion note is what they were paying. That's all it was worth. Now today, it's simply a collectible.
Right. So we're gonna mute Trish until she's ready. Oh, there she is. James, I saw your question, and you can feel free to raise your hand, James, and when we'll come to you, and you can ask that question on the call. Go ahead, Trish. You can unmute again.
Hey guys, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess my question is should I reach out to the same bank that I did whenever I guru food?
Now Now when you guru food, can you tell the people on the call what you did, the mistakes you made at first? The cleanup on aisle 7. What did you do? Because we don't want people to make the same mistake. So what did you do?
Well, I was doing the right thing by making the appointment with the wealth manager at a well-known bank. I had an appointment. I got there. I wore nice clothes. I looked all pretty. And then they told me that the wealth manager was busy, and but a private client banker could see me. So we went in there and sat down. It started off really good. And then I went straight to the Dinar and started talking about how the JP Morgan, what's his name again, Freedom?
Jamie Dimon.
Yeah, Jamie Dimon had went to Iraq and was under an NDA, and it just
went downhill from there.
It did. It went south really fast, and I praise her because she had patience with me. I was always, very nice, and whenever I would say something, and she would look at me kind of funny, I would say, "You can look it up on the computer. It's on the computer."
I think at one time you said she was looking out the window.
She was looking whenever I asked her about the NDA. She turned her head to the right and looked out the door and just stayed there. I was like, goodness. I was like, this is not. So, and then she looked at me and she said no, which made me actually feel like she was under NDA, to be honest with you. I had the feeling she was.
Yeah, most of them are. They just can't tell you. Yeah. But thank you so much for even, especially in just having fun and sharing it, because that helps other people to learn what, so we appreciate you. But let me ask you
on what I should do now, because the way
that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah, the way that I learn now, I mean, I know that I have to back.
You know what to do. Yeah, no, it's easy. It's a very simple. It's a very, very, very simple fix. And I think your concern was if you went back, they would recognize you. and because are you in a small town where you're concerned that they would just recognize you?
No, I mean, not particularly.
See, because honestly, who cares if they recognize you?
I was in there for a while. Yeah, she'll remember me as a guru person.
Okay, and you're now, I'm gonna ask you two questions. I'm gonna get back to this. Is there another similar location, wealth management, that you're okay with going to do what you need to do? Okay, well then, there you go. If that makes you feel better, yeah, it'll be like you're just starting fresh, new now, without the guru foo breath.
Right. Right. Unless she's got me tagged in there, Guru Foo Foo. She had a lady in there, and she actually told me that she was rude because, like, she went into a big spill about how she came into her office. And it was like, you do know this, it was like that. And she did share that with me. And I definitely didn't go in there acting like I was right, she was wrong, and, you need to do this. I did, when she would give me that look, I did say, though, that one time, I was like, no, you can look it up on the computer. It's, but,
right. But you
I
can.
might be wrong.
That's okay.
I feel like I knew everything, and I don't.
That's okay. But you're sharp. You took that step to establish the relationship. You had a little tart on your breath, but that's okay. Now you do it. It's okay. It's no problem at all. I commend you. We commend you. Congratulate you for taking that step. It is okay. It's okay. And you've learned from the other members, Zach, Amber, Brunette, Grand, CNL's mom, other people, Dee Dee and Dale. You've learned from other people.
Yep.
Yeah. You learn what to do, what now that you know and what not to do. It's okay. Yep. You'll be fine.
Yep. All right, I got it, guys. Thank you.
You'll be fine. You're welcome, young lady. And we're here. Whatever you need, we'll hold your hand every step of the way.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wiley, you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, we learned from this. I mean, I broke the coffee cup of the guy trying to help me.
That's right. You know what I mean?
I was embarrassed. Yeah, right. I was embarrassed, but it's just he laughed through it. I laughed through it. We moved on. He thought it was his fault. These things happen. We're all human. We don't know everything. This is why we lean to people who work in those spheres so that we can learn from them. Just like we've had to learn all this. We've had to go to the Goldilocks team and those guys to learn what they know so we can glean it. And we're learning every day on everything they put out for us.
That's right.
And we're happy to push that forward to give it to these folks so these folks can then take it and hand it to those people who aren't even on the internet that their circle of influence will touch.
There you go.
And then we go get those experts in our wheelhouse to push our education boundaries further. And that's always going to be a growing experience as you grow this wealth. You're always going to be bringing people in.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah.
But I'd love to have Trish. I'd love to do a call with her when she figures out this. And I think we had another one that just got this settled too. So all these challenges make great. So go ahead.
Absolutely. So Trish, just so you know, before you do anything, if you want to reach out to me, I want to make sure, or Wiley, myself, either one of us. I know Wiley, you're one of our staples in the room. We're here for you. All right. So you'll be fine. Because especially we want to get you on a call, you and Wiley, and make you a superstar, young lady. All right. Who has a question? Feel free to raise your hand. Oh, you're welcome, Trish. All right. If you have a question, raise your hand. I know James, you can unmute. I know you had I'm gonna come straight to you because I saw you post in the room. James, you can unmute and ask your question. James, can you? Oh, your mic is broken. Okay, well, I'm not going to answer your question openly on the call. We'd rather you come on and ask it. All right, next person, you can feel free to raise your hand and ask your question. Okay, so I'm going to go to the room with people that were asking questions. We're going to, Julie, I know you had to go. Let's see. Is Kathy here? Okay. Poison Ivy. Yeah, I was looking for you. Poison Ivy. You can unmute.
Okay, I'm back. I'm here. Okay, so, well, the whole Zim thing has been answered for me, with the questions that were asked and you answered. But I do have a question. I heard you say about the banks. We can go to like any bank. We don't have to go to, like we always heard, a tier 1 bank. Like I bank at Truist. Do you think that would be a bank that would be okay to do, or do I need to go to like a Wells Fargo or?
Are you asking about about currency exchange?
The currency exchange.
Yeah. If Truist, if I were you and Truist at locations, yeah, I would. If that was, an option.
I'd call maybe and ask. Okay.
Yeah, and you can, and just so I know, when you call, are you aware what to ask when you call?
Well, I was just going to ask
if not, I can do. Okay, go ahead.
If they sold foreign currency.
Okay.
Would that be fine?
Yeah, would you be opposed to asking, like, hey, sir, ma'am, I'm just curious. I'll be doing some traveling. Do you exchange currency?
Okay, that's good. I'll make
and just
a
let
note.
them give you an answer.
Okay.
Now it's different if you are also of the mind if you want to have wealth management at the location or not. That's different. You would want.
We have our own.
Oh, okay.
Guys. We have 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
okay.
Probably, and we're happy.
You won't need it.
Them. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
But Truist is a very, very reputable, strong, and Truist just bought out about a year or so ago. BB&T, yep.
BB&T for like decades, and then Truist bought that,
them out.
and I think SunTrust and combined.
And SunTrust, yep, and took all their branches, yeah.
Well, this makes me feel a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You.
Okie dokie. I love his name, Wiley. Rubicon Jeep Girl. So I guess she has a Cadillac. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Rubicon Jeep Girl. You can unmute.
She got a Grand Wagoneer.
Right.
Hello, how are you guys?
Doing good, thank you.
So I actually used to work at Truist. You can buy currency there. You can also do currency exchange, but they do not do it in person. They will
send it out.
Send it off for verification. That's correct.
Okay. Excellent. So there you go, Poison Ivy. That's in fact, Poison Ivy, if you can
would you recommend like doing that though? With the currency leaving our hands and stuff? What would you
is that question for okay.
For I guess you or
okay.
Whoever.
So well, me personally, I wouldn't have an issue with it if I trusted the location, because if you're dealing with a reputable bank that does this every single day, with currencies. So, but if it would make you feel better or more comfortable, with a location whereby they don't, then, that's an option for you as well. I wouldn't be opposed to it at, I wouldn't. Because like, for example, even Wiley mentioned for his situation earlier about his institution where they take it across the street to authenticate it. I mean, it's not like you're taking it to, here we go, Wiley. It's not like you're taking it to the redemption center behind the Piggly Wiggly to exchange it.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder how long it would take.
Well, that's a question you can ask them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's a question you can ask them.
List. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with you doing your homework to find locations that may not have to send the currency out as well. If that,
Right. Okay.
Whatever. Just do some homework, young lady.
Okay. Well, thank you, whoever responded from Truist. Thank you very much.
I had one of my banks that when I had some currency, I didn't want to run over to my credit union, and I took it there, and they just counted it in front of me. And they said, well, we have to send this in to validate it. And I did notice in my account, it just said pending.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pending transaction based upon what the authentication was going to say. So I knew it had been done because they did it there, but I was still just waiting for it to get sent to the main office or whatever and I think it took 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden it just hit my account. So it doesn't take too long.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thanks again, Rubicon Jeep Girl, for your help from Truist. I just love when the community can come together and help each other. That's beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There are so many people in this. We'd be baffled at what people do behind scenes that may know more than you and I do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Who else has a question? Go ahead and feel free to raise your hand. And seismic impact. I noticed you on Saturday on the call had a question and I lost you. So if you still want to ask your question, you can feel free to raise your hand. Seismic impact. I remember that name for some reason on Saturday. So who else has? Oh, there you go. You can unmute seismic impact. All right. You can unmute seismic impact. I saw you raise your hand. Unmute. There you go.
Okay. Freedom, thank you so much. My question.
What happened to you on Saturday?
I went. I don't think I was. I think I had to go out somewhere. I missed it, and I haven't had a chance to. I've been looking for the replay.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know. I'm thinking that it's on YouTube, and my intention was to go out on YouTube and go find it.
Yes, yeah, it's on YouTube. It was posted yesterday. We'll post it into the room here so that you'll be able to have immediate access to it as well whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I keep changing my my handle name because I keep getting people keep scamming me. So I just changed it. So we've been talking via DM for a while. So thank you for that.
Oh, what's your other name? So I'm aware.
My other name was Jubilee Everywhere.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Okay. So I noticed there were that you mentioned points that Wiley uses for going into a bank. I'm also picking up from you that you wouldn't try a Wells Fargo. So I'm kind of narrowing my choices down, but I was wondering are there any are the talking points or the points are they somewhere, or did you just post them in a room somewhere?
Yeah, you're talking about the Wiley's questions to ask a wealth manager?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, let's get them for you.
Okay.
Let me get on my 1 second. And also we just posted into the room the call from Saturday.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you.
It's
and
right
thank you for clearing up the question, the Zim thing. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No wonder.
You're welcome.
No wonder I never bought anymore.
You're welcome. And Wiley's experience and knowledge is very in depth on that. So I'm glad that he adds his understanding of it as well, because it's very in depth. And I just posted those questions as well into the bottom of the room.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate
the wealth manager questions.
And Wiley too. Thanks. Thank you.
Okie dokie. All right. Who else has a question? Feel free to hold up. I see a special guest here. Golden Grasshopper, can you please unmute? Golden Grasshopper. If you can unmute. Golden Grasshopper.
Hi.
Hey, you.
Hey.
Where have you been?
I'm just lurking around in the background like
Oh
usual.
my Lord. I was just thinking about you the other day.
Oh,
we had such fun with your. I had so much fun with your name in the other room. Do you remember?
yes. How could I
So
forget?
Wiley, this young lady, Golden Grasshopper, was one of the original wealth manager bank stories from the old room.
Yeah, but I wasn't as brave as some of, those who have done it since then.
But
Because
you did an amazing job, though.
yeah, but I didn't like ask for an appointment to talk to the wealth manager. I just wanted to make sure that I had a bank that I could have a relationship with, and that they actually
Yeah,
exchanged the foreign currency, and
yeah. You did an
um
amazing job. You're not giving
thanks.
yourself all the credit. I'll do it for you. You did an amazing job. But I'm
Thanks.
so shocked to see you. I wanted to bring you on and hear your voice, and also introduce you to Wiley, so Wiley knows who you are, because in the old room, he was the one when he asked me to come up and help. He was one of the ones that got that idea from, and folks establishing the relationship. So that's the Golden Grasshopper, Wiley.
Oh,
That's awesome. Hey, at least I know it wasn't for nothing, and you carried the torch. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's going back like to February or March of this year, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know. In the spring, I think the spring was.
Yeah, in the spring. Wow.
But
Okay.
it's a
Awesome.
pleasure to meet you, Wiley. I have
Yeah,
to
pleasure to meet you.
admit I'm a big fan of yours. Everything you say, I'm writing down. So just so you know,
That may not be a good thing because I don't know half the stuff I say.
I've got tons of notes about all the little projects that you had suggested just to give us ideas, and I think you're awesome. I'm really glad that you're here.
No, thank you. And still, every one of those I've ever listed, they're all yours. You can take them. You could make them your own. They're for everybody. I mean, what a beautiful place the world would be if we just had, imagine 100 people doing it, 200 people doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's all about love,
Yes, indeed. That's it.
So,
unconditional love.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Thank you.
I won't take up your time.
That's all right. That's my fault. I acknowledge you. I just wanted to
You surprised
bring you.
me, I have to admit.
I know. I can't forget the Golden Grasshopper. Thank you, beautiful. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Sounds like she had training wheels in quite a while, since February last year. That's awesome.
Yeah, she was one of the originals. Yep. All right, folks. Who has a question? Just go ahead and feel free to raise your hand. Let's get some of your questions, concerns, confusion, whatever it is. Let's tackle it right now. Let's get it out of the way. Kathy, I think you had a question or two. Mr. G, and the G. Every time Mr. G, I always think of Fred G. Sanford when I see your name. So go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. G. You can unmute.
Oh, that's funny. I think you guys had touched on this a few calls ago about receipts. Not necessary. Everything has been digitized by serial number, so all the resellers have all that information. Is that correct?
Okay, I'm not sure if I understand your question. Are you when you're talking about
for tax purposes, for cost basis?
Are you on for currency? I'm not.
Yeah, I don't have all the receipts from when I bought it all.
Oh, okay. Now, what's your question about? Now I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, for cost basis, you said that the sellers will have records of all that. We don't have to necessarily worry about it or dig for that.
Oh, yeah. Some sellers aren't. So you mean when you go to exchange your currency, your concern is that for taking receipts in?
For tax purposes.
Yeah, I don't even recall speaking about receipts for that you needed to take them in for tax purposes, because a lot of people won't have receipts. I have receipts that I had my currency so long the ink is faded.
Yeah, right. But it's a taxable event, and we're going
Mm-hmm.
to need to be able to figure out our cost basis. I think you had said that there's records of that, and we don't need to be.
I was speaking of the records of your currency when it'll be, of course, recorded when you purchased it and where you purchased it from.
Okay, so we don't need to go digging for them then.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a daunting task for a lot of people to dig up receipts for when they purchased their currency. Some people their currency was gifted to them,
right,
as well. So yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Hey, Freedom, that brings up a great point. Maybe discuss a little bit that currency dealers have to be registered to do a lot of this. So there is some paperwork on the backside that most people, when they buy, don't see.
Yeah, and exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, because folks, whenever you're dealer or location bank, wherever it is that you purchase your currency from, if it's online, and they're a registered dealer and they're registered with the SEC, they have to have records. And this is a part of even the regulations that are even coming out now that Goldilocks have been sharing about transparency and even records and collection, data collection. These dealers where you purchased your currency from, they will have records, and all those records ultimately are up in the Department of the Treasury. Will have that information, which of course throughout every bank throughout the country from the Department of Treasury will have those records of the currency as well.
I wonder if they'll buy back the Zim.
They how can they buy back a collectible?
I don't know. Secondary market.
It's a collectible.
I say when a certain guru does their exchange, we all dump it on him and make that guru responsible to make everybody else whole.
Yeah, right.
Whole.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
You're welcome. All right. Poison Ivy, I think you have another question, or is this an accent? You have another question, Poison Ivy?
Yes, I do
Okay.
actually. I was going to ask about the receipts and I totally forgot until that gentleman brought it up. So do we have to bring our receipts in when we go do our exchange?
If you have them, it'd be good to have them just in case.
Okay, just in case they want them. Okay,
Yeah,
because I have
just in
most of them.
Yeah, but they'll have a record of every currency that's been sold. They absolutely ultimately the U.S. Treasury, which trickles down to every financial institution, they will have a record on those currencies that were purchased and sold.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a guy we had on the call that talked about he'd been in this since 2004, and we talked about the Quiddy RV, and I don't remember when. It was a couple Saturday calls ago.
Yeah,
or
two Saturdays ago. 2 Saturdays ago, yeah.
He brought up a very great point, because at the time when this first was heard about here, and it was very quiet. You didn't hear much about dinar and currencies, but there was only 2 companies here that could sell it, that were licensed to sell it in the United States. I mean, at that time, even I want to say it was $400 per billion, because that's when I bought some, and I couldn't believe it was so cheap. And then somebody told me, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago what it was, and I'm like, I had no idea that the supply and demand had pushed it over to 1,200.
Wow. So is it safe to say, I asked these questions and I know you're going to help educate folks. Is it safe to say that there were maybe some deals that were made out there for people to pump these specific notes?
Yes. Yes, I would. Because if I'm buying it in the beginning for $400 a million, and all you guys are buying it now, or whatever I heard, $1,200-$1,300, what people are spending, I'm like, well, the only reason it would do that is if you had somebody pushing it to force a supply and demand model to raise that price.
And would that also be why it was no shame for several maybe sites or people out there that have deals with dealers and they promote those currencies on their sites?
Rephrase that a little bit so I don't get myself in trouble with that.
So is it safe to say that with those folks that have deals and they have agreements with dealers, and would it be safe to say that's why they promote selling promote certain currencies on their websites, because they get a percentage from the dealers?
I would say absolutely to that certain people have profited or are profiteering off the backs of others on saying things that may or may not be 100% fact or based in fact.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yep. And then, you got 24 hours, 72 hours to purchase this. It's at a discount. Hurry up. And then that's done like every month, once a month. But the 72 months have already passed a month ago.
See, as somebody who was part of the Kuwaiti RV, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe when I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know what? What if that guy's right? The guy who told me isn't a schmuck. I mean, he was an ambassador to Iraq. Who told me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this guy's dealing in these meetings every day. He saw me light a cigar with paper money, but I used paper money not as a joke, because lighter fluid's expensive and hard to come by in the Middle East. So you light paper and it lasts longer to light your cigar, so you're not wasting lighter fluid. He looked at me and said, "Hey, yeah, you might want to not do that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he told me, I'm like, "Oh, okay." Put that in the back of my mind, and I just kind of started saving currency from there.
So you lit Kuwaiti dinar.
Mm-hmm. Kuwaiti dinar, yeah. And I lit my cigar and smoked it. And he said, "Hey, you got one of those for me?" I said, "What, Kuwaiti dinar?" Or he goes, "No, it's cigar dummy." And I'm like, "Well, these are kind of hard to come by too." But he was ambassador. He was ambassador. What am I going to say? No,
right?
So, and he gave me a piece of advice, and it stayed with me. It stuck with me. And a number of years later, he called me and said, "It's going to happen again. Would you mind telling?" And he said, "That's going to happen in Iraq." I'm like, okay. So I started following it. I've been following it for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of these gurus come. I've seen a lot go. I've seen the lies. I've seen the stories, and I see people get hurt. And I'm going to tell you this one. No matter what we did to help everybody in this, the one thing we realized we were never going to be able to do, and that's protect people from themselves.
Yeah.
Regardless, all the other mechanisms we were putting in place to protect folks, we can't protect them from the decisions they will make that will harm themselves. And this Zimbabwe is a perfect example. They didn't do their homework, and they spent money on a collectible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense. Wow. All right. Wow. All right, folks, who has a question while we're still here, we'll take a few more. I know this is impromptu, and I don't want to tie up Wiley too much longer. Oh, room closes in half an hour, but we don't. Raise your hand.
Now we're good, Freedom. Let's go ahead and run it out until they go. I was just at the gym, so no big deal.
Okay. Cool. Okay. 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 Seismic impact. I don't know if you had another question. I saw your hand again. You can.
Yes, sir. I do. This question is for Wiley. Did you experience the Kuwaiti RV, and what was that experience like for you?
Well, it changed my life. I was able to buy a house when I got home, and I paid cash for it. This is why I'm telling you, don't go pay cash for a house. I did that. But it wasn't like it is today. There wasn't all the rumor mill. There wasn't all this stuff going around. There wasn't a lot of just misinformation because the internet hadn't been invented yet. It just wasn't to where it is. So most of what I was learning was through couple friends I'd known that were kind of in this trading currency stuff, and they were helping me and they were guiding me. And when they finally told me, "Hey, you got some of that Kuwait currency, you can get that flipped." And I'm like, okay. So when I waited around, I didn't do it right away. I waited a few weeks. And then by the time I got in there, I found out I lost on some big money because it was floating all over the place. And I think when I finally did get in there, it was about $3 and change when I finally did my conversion. And it was enough to buy my first home and enough to leave me a little bit of money left over that I did get into wealth advisory.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Wiley, can you share why it's for people not to necessarily pay cash?
Well, yeah, certainly. So, I mean, there used to be incentives and tax breaks to buy a home. That no longer exists. That was removed a few years ago under Trump. Good or bad, that's indifferent. When you take cash to go buy a home, you just took capital that you could have working for you in an investment. So I would take the money, go invest it. So now you have investment money, then you have investment income. You could go to any bank there is and say, hey, I've got this much capital working for me. I got XYZ coming back in investment money. I want to borrow the money from my home. And they're going to look at what you have, and they're going to look at you and say, yeah, this is somebody we can definitely work with.
Mm-hmm. You can leverage it.
And that way you're not tying up. And this is, and if I can, I hate to digress off this just a little bit, but if you're going to do a project, don't go take all the money right now out of your capital for your project. Get it invested. Then start doing your project with interest money so your capital can be there working for you long term.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely. Thank you for that. I know a lot of people need to hear that.
Yeah. This is never going to happen again. Not with the new systems that are being built. We will never see a currency flip like this again.
Mm-hmm. Chance of a lifetime.
This is it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a lottery ticket.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a once in a lifetime event. I don't like to say lottery ticket because then people treat it like one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You definitely don't want that.
No.
Yeah. And it's amazing, man. No, it's amazing that you're able to participate in a once in a lifetime opportunity twice.
Yes.
You got it twice for you.
Well, this is what I talk about my circle of influence. The guy that I met all those years ago, who was an ambassador, remembered me because I'd broken my hand and I had to have 2 pens put in my hand, and I didn't want to be stuck behind a desk, so they assigned me to drive him around. And I built a rapport with this man. I sat next to this man for several hours a day, and I got to know him. He got to know me, that he remembered me. And when this came around, he remembered me, and he called me. That's the beauty and benefit of always giving people the benefit of the doubt, because we never know what circle of influence they have that may become a part of ours.
Exactly right. That's amazing. You obviously made a huge impact on him, that he remembered you and gave you a call and said, "Hey, you still got those Kuwaiti dinars? You didn't burn them all on cigars, did you?"
No, not when I came home. I did. No. Well, I quit doing it in front of him, obviously. You know what I mean? I think it was my sense of humor won him over.
Right. Probably so.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's awesome. Okay, Manuel, out of Australia, you can unmute.
Good morning, Freedom. Wiley, how are you guys?
Good morning.
Doing great.
Good. How are you?
Very good, very good. I got a question that I was never going to ask in this room because I didn't want to get the teachable moment directed to myself.
Okay.
But I think I can ask. I think I can ask it in a more light spirit.
Okay.
Now that Wiley mentioned the $3 something rate, do we have an idea, a suspicion on how it all will? Because regarding to the rates and will it all go to 1-to-1 eventually? Because that's the feeling I got. But in the process, what can we expect on that fluctuation, on that float? How do you guys suspect that to take place?
Were you asking Wiley because of the Kuwaiti dinar's value revalue rate at that time?
Yeah. Because he mentioned the rate that he mentioned that he ended up getting $3 something. And I wonder, because we're always talking about a level playing field, and to my mind, that's around a 1-to-1 ratio. But is that when it all set, when the dust settle, that's going to get that way, you guys think? Or is there a fluctuation that it'll be a point where it could even get better before it goes back to that level playing field?
Okay, Wiley, I'll jump in here, and then if you can follow up. I'm going to address level playing field because it'll help. So, let me clarify what level playing field means. And actually, I'm glad you asked this question, Manuel, because I'm sure a lot of people may also have the same question. A level playing field doesn't mean that every currency will be 1-to-1. I mean, mathematically, that would be leveling the playing field. But leveling the playing field is really speaking of gold backing all of the currencies, and then those currencies moving to their real values versus the manipulated and suppressed values that many of the currencies have been on. So with the U.S. dollar being the world reserve asset and currency, and now many countries ditching the U.S. dollar to utilizing their own currencies, that is a part of also the leveling of the playing field, where other countries' currencies, through supply and demand, will be able to move to their real values. That's more so of what leveling of the playing field is speaking to, versus 1-to-1 for every currency. Does that make sense, Manuel? Did that help?
Yeah. I saw it that way. And if that gets the way that it's been designed, I think, because everything's going to be gold back, it will eventually, doesn't matter which currency you hold, because you're going to be able to buy the same pair of shoes here or anywhere, and it's going to cost you roughly the same.
Right, because those currencies will float up to their real rates. Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you buy Italian shoes or you buy Iraqi sandals. They'll be worth what they worth. Okay,
right.
If somebody made the sandals by hand, or somebody made them in a fancy factory in Italy, it doesn't really matter, because you're gonna pay for what the real value is.
Right. Yes.
And that will. Okay. So
yeah,
I'm asking this. So, sorry. No, you go.
Yeah, it's on that note, it's like the saying where you're speaking of real values, where sandals in Iraq versus Italian shoes, in Italy or wherever else. It's the same. For example, like Goldilocks shared an article today about real estate that will also be gold backed, and that's all the countries around the world. Because the real estate or assets, they will move to their real values, also backed by gold. So what something costs as a home or a property in Iraq versus Italy or the United States, it'll all be backed by gold and move to its real values. So
that's how I see it. But the idea of asking the question is, when this movement of money starts to happen, what are the red flags for us to be alert? So what would be how soon would you go and start exchanging? Or
right, and Wiley has, and he can jump in here because he's mentioned as well before about a threshold. Wiley, you want to jump in?
Yeah. This is where I like to talk about people's threshold. We are all currency speculators in this. We are all investors trying to buy low, get out high. But everybody's going to have to determine for themselves. We know Iraq said very clearly they will have a reinstated rate. We know that factually. As we know, most every other currencies out there are going to float. So we as investors have to determine where we're comfortable to cash out at. Is it 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cent gain? We all have to determine that for ourselves. Where it stops, we truly don't have a crystal ball to say that. Mm-hmm. But we look at it and we watch it and say, I'm comfortable here. I've got other things I want to go do. I'm getting off. I'm going to go do some other things. So everybody's going to have a little different exit strategy and exit point. And I'd love to be able to say, oh, it's going to do this. It'll be this much. That's disingenuous because nobody knows that.
All right. And this is where Manuel, paying attention and watching the markets as things develop comes in. So you can unmute Manuel.
It's going to be very very fun and challenging to watch, because if that takes in the way that we think it's taking in, a place like Indonesia will be worth for its natural beauty. So the real estate there will go up because of where it is. And places like in New York, it'll be worth because of where it is located business-wise. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really challenging spiritual time to actually make the decision. And you're going to have to get yourself really grounded to be comfortable with the idea, because I think if this is what I see, everything's going to go level. I mean, it may take 30 years, but everything will level up, because it has to. Water always finds its level.
Exactly, and you're on the money, like you even said, where it's spiritual. It's a spiritual shift and enlightening and fun, And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not going to be, the real values won't be necessarily overnight, but like you said, it's going to, take time. But like Wiley said, there will be, whether someone wants to get out at $1.20, $1.50, or 70 cents, or $2, whatever it may be, there, the opportunity will be there for us to leverage and maximize our returns and other investment opportunities as well, because there's no quote unquote a switch, boom, and everything's at a level everything is at its real values. Where there's opportunities where a particular currency may go up to a rate that you're comfortable exchanging at, and then you have this certain cryptocurrency over here, or this precious metal, silver or something over here, that still hasn't begun to rise as much, and you invest in that as well, and then you gain tremendous returns on that. There's so many opportunities, and like Wiley said, this is a chance of a lifetime, and you all are realizing that this is well planned out. It's not a switch, but like Goldilocks shared in the article today in regards to the Feds lowering the interest rates, presumably in the next couple of days. This is why gold reached its all-time high just recently. I think it was last week, the week before, and it's been going up for all year. Gold has been continuously going up and reaching its all-time high. Silver is going up. There's massive amounts of liquidity coming into the markets as we're going to see the devaluation of the dollar. We're already starting to see the revaluation of gold. It's moving up because it's what's going to back our assets, both paper currencies, digital currencies, and our assets as far as the real estate market and other assets. So we're right at the beginning stages this month of seeing these things begin to happen.
And I think that's the key, is starting to shift that mindset that it's not the only one chance opportunity that we're gonna have to go from where we are to where we want to be. That's gonna be more like a trampoline for us to move up and start thinking that if that gives you a head start on a good investment that gets you moving, that's the way to go. You don't have to wait for the perfect 1-to-1 rate to change it all, because you're going to be living in the victim state. You're going to have to be more of an spiritual adult and take it as it's starting to come and move on and find your way up.
That's right. Exactly.
Go ahead, Freedom. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Wally.
Freedom, Manuel said something very profound in that, is people are going to have to find their grounding. Because, and we need to get you some theme music for these teachable moments, because this was great. Your conversation with him was actually great.
I got the teachable moment. I was avoiding it.
Yeah, you got it anyways. Everybody got it, Manuel, based on your question, if they really were listening to what Freedom was just saying there. Because everybody's waiting for some super big announcement that's going to be everywhere, and everybody's going to light off to the banks with their hair on fire. They're going to do this. They're going to do... Why? It's not going to be like that. And there's so many lost in all of this, and the reality of what is. That's why we're trying to teach people to build these relationships with a banker and a wealth manager now, so they have their exit strategy planned, and they can walk into the bank calmly, peacefully, say, I'd like to exchange this currency today, please. And by the way, is your wealth manager available? Simple, calm. All these other people out there, they're going to be running around with their hair lit on fire because they have no grounding. And I don't think, and I'm sorry to use Trish, but I don't think we want to be that customer to walk into the bank and there's Trish right there doing her thing the first time around. You know what I mean? We're going to be like, let's steer clear of that.
Right.
And I mean well for Trish. I really, really do. But she learned a little bit from that. And I think that's what we're really trying to steer around, is we don't. You said something there, Manuel, that this is a blessing, but people could get hurt in this as well if they don't treat it accordingly.
Because that's you hit the nail because the energy is not respectful of person, so you can use it for either one. It's like fire. You can use it for good or bad. A knife, you can use it for good or bad. And this blessing is just energy, and it's not judgmental. And we have the free will and choice to use it whichever way we want. And if you direct it in the wrong direction, well, you're gonna sink really fast, really low. So you have to be really, really careful. And I think the job that you guys, the work that you guys doing and planning ahead, what it's doing is shifting our mindset into a more of an investor, long-term, rather than a one-off lottery mindset.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you, when I first started this, I felt I was in financial quicksand because it was new. I didn't understand any of it. I've got language coming at me I didn't understand. I got terminology I didn't understand. I had to go learn it. So I'm sitting there writing these words down he's saying. And Investopedia became my friend. And I started looking at it. I started learning these words. So when I walked in, I'm starting to speak my wealth manager's language. And I didn't feel like I was just being drug along. I had a say in where I was going. And I could converse to him on an equal field of where I wanted to go. And he understood. And we had a dialogue. And we had a language we were both understanding. And we have to move to that mindset that this is like, we aren't speculators anymore. We're wealthy individuals. And with that, we're going to have to learn. And we're going to continue to learn as we move along in this. Because just as fast as you got out of any debt problems you have, mismanaging this will put you in worse problems than you ever thought you had.
So true. Yep. Exactly. Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you for the teachable moment.
No problem. Thank you for the question.
He does it to me.
Well, I learned from you, so touche.
No, and that's right. I learn from you all the time. So when you throw some things down, I'm like, yeah, I didn't make that connection. Absolutely. So it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, Peekaboo, originally from Vietnam. You can unmute. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Doing
Hi,
great.
comedian Wiley.
Hey.
So I have a lighthearted question, but before I ask that question, I wanted to follow up with Manuel's question about that conversation. And I wanted to know, is it up to us to keep track of the exchange, like what price is that? Or can your wealth manager let you know about that?
Actually, it could be either or. Your wealth manager can and probably will be in touch with you, but why not be on top of it yourself?
Can you share the link for
There's
us to check on the prices?
There's several.
Okay.
I don't want to be partial to one in particular, but you know, myself, excuse me, I look at forex.com.
Okay.
That's just me. So there's an app on the phone that I have as well as xe.com.
Okay.
X as in X-ray, E as in Edward.com. So there's several. Yeah, I don't want to be too biased towards any particular one, like I'm promoting or anything like that. So.
And you can actually set those up for just what you want to view. So when you look at it, you will see a daily rate daily on any of this, what you want to see.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So my funny question is this. So I know about this RV and I've been following it for years and my husband doesn't believe in it. So I'm getting excited. And what I wanted to do was take a year off after this happens and just disappear, like enjoy myself, stuff like that. And I tried to hint to him a few times, like I said, if we're really, really rich, would you quit your job or would you just take a year off and go on vacation and stuff? And his answer would always be, I will deal with it when it's here. And I'm not like that. I want to be prepared. I just can't get him to think beyond what he's thinking. Okay, but that's besides the point. So my question is, would you advise this, Wiley? Can I disappear for a year? Would that be a problem? I mean, I can just say that I did well on my investment and I'm just taking off a year, or would that be making yourself a target?
I wouldn't say it puts a target on yourself, but are you saying you want to disappear for a year and then come back and pick your job back up? Is that?
No, I don't know about picking my job back up.
Okay, I'm kind of assuming you'd probably want to leave
do what
that.
I need to do, and then and then get on my projects that I want to do with
Oh,
managing projects. Yeah.
Take whatever time you need.
Okay.
Do whatever you feel you want to do. If you want to travel a little bit and your husband wants to stay home and keep his job, send him a postcard. Tell him you're having a great time.
Right. I think that he would change his mind when he goes in with me, but right now there's just no way of convincing him to do anything. So.
Yeah, and we're all wired differently. Everybody that's probably on this call, listening to this call, or knows anything about this is wired differently to see this.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that could look at this and dismiss it straight off a hand and just move on about their life and never think twice about it.
Yep, I know those people.
What my CPA, one of my CPAs, he knows what I do. He sees what I make. He has no interest in it at all. Not at all. And he sees what I can do in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's such a matter-of-fact guy. He's black or white. There's never that area of gray because he's just a matter-of-factual individual. That's his whole entire life. And that's what I love about him, because he is that way, and he's just got that attention to detail I want. But we're always going to run across people like that in our lives. If it's your husband, that's okay. When it happens, it'll happen. He'll see what you've done and say, wow, I'm sorry. I was in such disbelief. What are we doing? You're just like, well, we're taking a trip. Pack your bags.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I mean, I just don't want to be a target. And I think we all have to be careful every move we make so that we don't become a target. I mean, and that message really really calls to me, because I don't want to be a target.
Don't be fearful of it. Just be cognizant of it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Back to work. For me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Zachary, the one and only. You can unmute, young man.
Oh, we're out of time, aren't we? We got to go.
Oh yeah, I did. I think I just heard the phone ring. I gotta get.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Zachary.
I think Goldilocks is calling.
Yeah.
It's the yellow dragon. Yellow dragon is here. Okay.
Hey, this is Amber.
Yes, right. I'm here in my Zim suit. I'm here in my Zim suit. I got a question.
You're so funny.
No, I have a question.
Okay, frankly speaking only.
Okay. I got on white today. Don't play with me. Okay, you know what white suit means now. Okay, we ready. We ready. Okay, no, for real.
What's that green suit again?
What was the green suit?
I don't know if that was new intel or what. Let me go to the Piggly Wiggly and I'll find out real.
I got to spin your soul first.
I think the reason I don't know. Yeah, I think the reason we don't know, because that means we're all being paid and we haven't reached that point.
Think so. Yep, Patriots. The son has been scanned and ready for the RV, okay? Been scanned. No. No, but for real, do you think there's going to be a certain time in between float amounts between, amongst different countries? Like floats, like one day it'll
like
be
it all happen at the same time?
Okay, yeah, does it happen at the same, like does it happen like a day apart or like a couple of days apart or a week? Like it'll be 50 cents one day and then 70 cents the next, or would it be like 70 cents 3 days, or does it just go up and down, or is it just constant?
That question got my Zim suit vibrating.
Yeah.
Oh, Freedom, you're gonna have to take this one. I'm gonna laugh too hard.
Yeah, it's there's no way to accurately project exactly the length of time between the rates going up. Supply and demand will large in part determine the floating rates. And this is where having a plan in place, or an idea of where, like, this is the threshold that Wiley talks about. So it's hard to predict, okay, if it's going to be 50 cents for a day, then 70 cents for 3 days, and $1.20 for a week. There's no way to really predict that. It's just that's where, it's where having a plan and that threshold. That's where that's going to come in. And I'm glad you asked this, because it's like with trading or investing, whatever the amount that you're comfortable with exchanging at, be comfortable with that amount. Make your decision, make it decisively, and move on to what's next. Because if you are of the mindset like, wow, dang, I exchanged that 60 cents or I exchanged that 70 cents, but now it's at $1.20. Let me go back and buy some more because it's going to continue to go up. And then it turns around on you.
Right.
Not saying that it will. I'm just saying you don't want to be in that mindset of, oh, I wish I would have stayed in, a little long. Get out and move on to the next one, to whatever else you're going to do. If I know it's going to be hard, because you're going to exchange that an amount. You're going to be looking at, I wonder what it is today. I exchanged at $1.20. I wonder if it is, and then it's at $1.50. You're like, dang, I wonder if it's going to go to $2. Let me go back. No, do not. I would not encourage you to do that at all. Get out, move on.
All right. I'm going to write that down and put it in my plastic clear folder.
Because what it's called in the trading world is being a decisive trader. So we can say it as an investor, being a decisive investor. Make your decision, and have no second, no hesitation, and just get out and move on. Because the worst thing that you can do is to exchange and take what you're taking your profits and going back in to buy more with the expectations that it's going to continue to go up. You do not want to do that.
Right. I gotta buy more suits. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, let me throw something on you to the guy that I lean to for advice all the time. And when he hears me whining about something like this, and I've done it, I'm like, man, I should have stayed in another week or two and rode that just a little longer. He goes, did you make money? I said, yeah. He goes, then shut up. Move on and do something else.
All right, there you go.
And that's what he says to me without missing a beat, because he's so seasoned at this. But I've had to learn that. And I've had to learn to be decisive, because you know what? He's always right. I don't care if I have to pay the tax on this. I still made a profit, especially in this. What did I pay to get in? As long as I cover that, anything beyond it is profit for me. I can take that and go do so many other things that we have to look at it like that, to be like, we're in profit. What else is there? That's where your wealth manager is going to say, let's get to work. What do you got?
All right.
Now I've never had my wealth manager say shut up. My best friend says that.
Wealth manager anymore. We're not that friendly. No.
That's funny.
Thank you. My question.
All right. Good to hear your voice, young lady. You doing all right?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing great. Better. Thank you. I won the fight for my colon. No.
Awesome. All right.
Again, I gotta run. I gotta go back and get some milk from the Piggly Wiggly. I'll talk to you guys later.
Oh, if you guys only knew, I take a shot of bourbon every time somebody says Piggly Wiggly.
Uh-oh. So we know what to say to get Wiley drunk. Just keep saying it.
Oh, I'm messing with you. I was telling that the lady E the other day. I said, man, how many times are you going to say Piggly Wiggly in one call? It's funny. It's just kind of like Guru Foo.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we love you guys too.
Love you guys. All right. Who is next? Feel free to raise your. I thought I saw someone raise their hand. I might have missed you. I don't know who it was. Feel free to raise your hand. We will come to you. get your question out of the way. Julie, I know you had some questions in the room. Did we answer your questions, Julie? I'm not sure. Julie, you can unmute.
Yes, you answered my question.
We did. Okay.
I'm going to go back.
All right. Thank you.
Take care of it.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you for your help.
All right. Okay. You too. All right. TSJ, you can unmute, and then Hound Dog will come to you right after.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Appreciate the call. I got two questions. One, do you think there'll be a time limit on for how long we can exchange post RV?
Nope.
No.
Cool. And then second, I don't know if I missed it, but I know Wiley was part of the Kuwait RV. I don't know if you mind answering, but did you? Because I haven't really ever met anyone that is part of it personally. But did you have to go to Iraq and exchange, or was it?
No, I did it through a guy. That does currency transactions here. He did that for me.
Got you. So it's a different scenario here, obviously, because we have the banks.
Yeah, because you have banks that can do it now. You got the advent of the internet. You can do trading. There's just so many ways you can do it nowadays. Just what's at our fingertips today, as far as how everybody's like, oh my God, digital scared me. Man, that's how everybody felt when the internet first come out. Now we're all internet banking, doing all kinds of things we don't even look at twice about. So, but yeah, and I've only ran into two other people who I met who made money in the Kuwaiti RV, and they were both military officers.
Gotcha. Pretty cool. And then one last question. What's your take, both of you guys, what's your take on buying things outright versus taking, loans on cars or, obviously, what's your take on, obviously you want to work your money, get interest in return.
TSJ, you the guy wanting that Porsche? Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember? Yeah. I knew he was dancing around something there. I didn't want to say
exactly.
Yeah.
The 911.
Hey, let me throw it this way to you.
That's right, Freedom. No, just in general, just because sometimes I know, you want to take your initial capital, make money on it, use those, interest to fund your liabilities, but does it make sense sometimes to purchase things outright in cash?
It does, but if you want that Porsche, let me throw another way of doing it. Is go get your wealth management and all this stuff, and then talk to your financial planner, your wealth manager, whatever. Say, hey, I'm thinking about leasing a Porsche, and lease it.
Gotcha.
Then you can just turn it back in when you're done with it, because I guarantee you that feeling's going to wear off in a few months. 6 months down the road, you're going to be trading that in for something else. It's going to seem more reasonable. Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking from experience here. I've done it.
Yeah. So pretty much just don't jump the gun on anything and take it nice and slow, obviously.
Yeah, I would. I would encourage people to take a step back and breathe a little bit before they did anything. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with a $2,000 watch with a dead battery you don't wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're welcome.
Yeah, but folks, put a little mad money aside. And I'm not saying a ton of it, because you're going to look back and say, where did it go? And then you're going to realize you're going to have a little regret that you didn't do something with it productive. But get it out of your system.
I have one more question, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is kind of hypothetical. Say you have a decent amount of dinar.
Mm-hmm.
Over 10 million, for instance.
Yeah.
What's your take on, would you just exchange most of it just to secure those profits and move on with your life? Or would you, what's your, I know nobody knows the number or the rate that's coming out, but what?
Even if it came out 1-to-1, TSJ, I'd be all in and out, and I'd be making that money work for me. Because what I could do with that money, or what my wealth manager can do with $10 million, would actually blow you away.
Got you. So
the money you can make on that money, you could probably make $1 million a month on that. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes work, and it takes discipline, and it takes planning.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now you got $10 million working for you for a year, making you $12 million.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, because you know what it is? You hear about that guru fufu, or it's coming out at $3 and all these crazy rates, but it's like, I mean, you know, and then we're more on the more realistic side. We're talking 70 cents or 60 or whatever it may be, deleting zeros. So it's like you don't really know. I just don't know what's the proper. I guess when the time comes, but I'm with you on that.
I'd be gone from this investment at 30 cents.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's just me.
Yeah, everyone's got a different threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
You want to
Thanks,
add
guys.
anything to that?
Yeah,
Freedom?
just on the excellent all suggestions, especially on the leasing. What I would do, TSJ for me personally, leasing, it would not be in my own name. I would have my LLC, my companies. I would have whereby I get tax benefits, and you might want to consider when you get with your wealth management team, TSJ, to have like LLCs or companies set up to where that company leases that vehicle and you're an employee of that company driving it, and be able to get your tax benefits from it that way versus you leasing it in your personal name. That's what I would do on my Porsche 911.
I wasn't going to go that far, but I'm glad you did. I didn't want to keep that deep with you, but that's what I would have done. And I would have wrote it off as a business cost. And then when I was done with it, I'd get rid of it and I'd give me something else. But talk to your wealth manager, because they're going to look at you and say, well, we can structure some things to help you with that. You're like, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be surprised.
So, because because TSJ, in this new 911, or first I wouldn't buy a new one. It would be used. That was me. Well, if it's leased, it would be new. But I would do something.
I like buying certified pre-owned.
Okay.
Couple years old.
Well then, leasing might be out of the realm for that, but unless you find a dealership that will do it. But if so, and then having a bank card on that company name, so your gas and expenses and everything, you can take advantage of for tax purposes, young men.
100%. You know what it is, last point being? Sorry. It's just I feel like there's an urge where I'm gonna just splurge the first day, and I really need to not do that.
Get it out of your system.
Like $1 million the first day, literally. I mean, so that's not enough. I don't want to be that guy.
Don't be that guy. This is like Wiley said. This is a chance of a lifetime. You don't want to, and like Manuel was saying earlier about mindset. You want to be in the mindset. You want to have a wealth mindset, not a lack mindset, because a lot of the lack mindset is to spend a large amount of money and buy all the things, like a lot of professional athletes or people do, get all this money and then go broke in 6 months. You don't want to be that guy.
It's funny you say that, Freedom, because one of the guys I listened to a lot, it was actually the guy that worked for the NFL, and he taught the rookies to pro program. And he took all these guys that just got these new $1 million signing contracts, and he started to educate them about money. 90% of them didn't listen. Wow. That's why the NFL stands for not for long, because you ain't going to play for long, and then you ain't going to be in it, and then you got no money coming out, and then what do you do?
Right.
So, yeah, he taught that program. I learned a lot from him just about when I first started coming into money, and I grew from him as his circle that he was around. I started learning from other guys that already were doing it at a huge level.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
difference. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just the little things he was saying and preaching. So, because he used to be a wealth manager, that's why we listen to these guys. That's why we hire these guys. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
But yeah, go get your 911. But talk to your wealth manager about what your idea and your goal is and how you can offset that. And you'd be surprised. He might be able to help you with some of the partners that they're tied to with they're going to be able to help you do some stuff with that.
Absolutely. There you go. Thanks, TSJ. And Hound Dog, you can unmute, and then Jan will come right to you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. When I saw your name, I thought of Elvis.
Oh, wow. I was in and out on this chat with some phone calls, so I didn't hear it all, and I hope this hasn't been asked already, but we were talking about demonetized currencies and the Pingo, and I'm even wondering about the Bolivar. Those would probably fit in that Zim category, wouldn't they?
I honestly can't answer that because I don't follow those. Maybe Freedom can, but I've never followed those two currencies to be able to make a decision on those either way.
Yeah, the Zim itself, but I don't. As far as the others aren't the Boulevard is not demonetized, but the Zim.
The Pingo's 1946, and they don't have Pingos anymore. And a lot of people have got those. I know people that have got a bunch of them. And I would imagine, I mean, when you say demonetized, that was demonetized right after World War II. I would imagine that would fit in the same category. It's not considered a bond, they're saying. They're saying they're going to call it a currency. So the jury's out on that one, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I can't speak to it either way.
Well, I guess we can hope.
All you can do is ask. I mean, when if you go in and you're taking care of some other business, just say, "Hey, is there a rate on this at this time?" And they'll tell you.
Yeah, I suppose they should just take it with them.
Yeah.
Find out when you get there.
And if it's not, if they say, "Yeah, it's a tradable currency," what's it at? Make that determination for yourself if you want to exit or you want to let it ride.
All right. Sounds good.
Alrighty. Jan, you can unmute, young lady.
Hi.
Howdy.
So I missed the beginning of the call. So again, if someone else has already asked this, I apologize. Since the banks currently only insure up to $250,000, should we be getting insurance before we walk out of there? And can the bank easily do that?
Should you get insurance on
the money?
How would you do that?
That was that CDARS policy I put out there, Frida, that you could add on. There were certain banks that offered that insurance. But unless you're banking within those institutions that offer that, and even though the banks offer it, there may only be a few clients that do it. But you can ask, but you need to go look to ensure the bank you're going to offers that insurance.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't familiar.
Are you thinking we don't need it because of the QFS?
I'm really thinking that's going to be an obsolete point. But if it makes you feel better, you can ask about it, check into it.
I was. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jen.
I was hoping that as well because they know it's only a small percentage of us, but still.
This whole arena is changing, and it's all digital, right? So now things aren't traceable from point to point anymore. The fear of you going in and money being missing that they won't be able to track very easily that's going to be kind of mute.
Right, and I heard like currently, if there's a certain situation that $250,000 insurance doesn't mean anything anyway, because they can take your money if they need to.
Well, the FDIC's broke, and they have 99 years to pay you. That's right in the contract.
Yeah. Okay, so in your opinion?
My opinion, I would go in and do my business. I would, and this goes back to my 3 pillars: necessities, needs, and wants. Right? I make sure I have enough money on a regular basis in my account to take care of any of the necessities, which is food, water, and shelter. Whatever's after that's my needs. I mean, yeah, I need to make sure my bills are paid, my lights are on, I have a nice bed, things like that. The wants column, I don't keep money in there for the wants column. I keep enough just to cover the 2 bases I need. Everything else I have in wealth management, and that money is working. So I really don't have money sitting in a bank.
Right, and that's my plan as well. However, that very first day, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking a little bit. Like somebody's going to come in, put your finger in it first day. Yeah, no, that won't be a problem. I mean, I get it. This is all new. I understand, and I don't think you have that fear, Jan. I don't think you'll need to worry about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll be fine, young lady.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now I feel like I'm giving teachable moments here.
There you go. About time. I don't like to be the only one.
Manuel got one. He wasn't even wanting it.
Oh man.
Yeah, folks, make sure your money's working for you all the time, folks. And it's with that wealth manager, it's working. They're working with it. It should be working for you because money never sleeps. You do.
Right. Yeah, thank you. I got to look into what you shared to the room on the insurance so I can become familiar with it.
It used to be called CDARS, but the name had changed. I dropped that into the room. It's you can insure your money within the bank. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a point to it once we get all this conversion and start down that road. I think you're going to see a lot of that wane off. And I've talked to a bank that has it, and I was going to do it, but I didn't because my money's in the wealth manager tied up that I didn't have enough in my regular account for it to be an issue.
Right. Yeah, okay. CDR, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
In infra banking.
Yes, indeed. Stingray, you can unmute, and then we will come to you, Felicia, next.
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
All right, thank you.
Good.
How you doing?
I'm good. Waiting on the rain to come. Do you guys know? Okay, I've heard that there's going to be like a percentage charged at the bank when we go do our exchange. Have you guys heard that? I guess is the first question. And then second question would be any idea on, I guess, the amount that we should put back for taxes? I know it's going to be based on, of course, what we are exchanging on, how much we have, but like a percentage or an idea, 10, 20%. What's your thoughts, please?
I think this is also for the tax percentage. I think that's where what Wiley calls your circle of influence with your relationships that you have with wealth managers or tax professionals. I would seek their take on the tax side for the answer to that question. And then as far as fees, I believe you're referring to fees when you exchange. Some banks, they may have fees, and I'm sure they will. Not sure what those particular fees are, though. But but also I think you're asking if I've heard of there being fees. No, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was, fees. The banks are in the business to make money. So, but you can also with your, your team that, like Wiley calls your circle of influence. Those are also questions that you can ask them because they might be associated with specific banks and may know the answer to those questions. If there are fees, what those amounts are as well. They may know that ahead of time so that you can plan and prepare ahead of time.
Right. I've heard that there's going to be anywhere from maybe 1% to 5%, and it could be based on, whatever bank, it could offer, one could have 2%, one could have 1% or whatever. I guess we just have to call around to find that out.
Well, this is where establishing your relationship comes in because you're in what Wiley calls your circle of influence. They can do that homework for you. They're associated. I mean, they're in the business, so they do this every. They have clients that may be clients of the bank that are high net worth doing exchanges as well. You can. If I were you, I would not call around to the banks asking them that question. about fees.
Okay.
What if I were you, what I would do is establish my relation. Have you established your relationship with the banks yet for?
No, because I had to move, and I moved to another state, and I'm just kind of
That's right.
getting settled a little bit, and
Right.
it's
What I would
been
encourage
hard.
you. Yeah. What I would. That's right. Was it Arizona?
No, unfortunately, I spent 30 days in the hospital, and I
Mm.
was paralyzed.
Mm.
I mean, so I've kind of gone through, I've had some health
Some major
issues,
changes.
whatnot,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I haven't been able to get
And
out and
yeah.
really, I'm still using a walker to get around. So,
Okay. Okay.
I haven't really done any of that yet.
Okay. Okay. I understand. I know. I thought you were there. There was someone else in the room. If I were you, what I would do is I would get settled. Don't rush. You don't need to rush this process just yet. Get yourself settled into wherever you're at. I would not call the banks asking about fees and things of that nature. I would establish my relationship with wealth managers, wealth advisors first. I know you haven't really been around in a while. Are you aware of the members? We have them recorded where our members have established their relationships already with wealth managers. If not, we can share
Yeah.
them with you.
Oh
Okay.
no, I'll listen to. I mean, I'm on your call every Saturday night, and then of course I listen to your YouTube. And
Mhm.
no, I just have never asked a question. I kind of
Oh,
stay in the
no worries.
background and
Yeah,
just.
okay. Yeah, but I recognize your name is unforgettable, Stingray. So
I love you for
um,
that.
I figured that. But yeah, I would encourage you to establish your relationship the way that we've encouraged our members and how we encouraged our members to do, and utilize those relationships with your wealth managers, with the CPA. Utilize them to get answers for certain questions. That's one of the reasons why Wiley has a lot of the questions to ask a wealth manager. But utilize them. They have if they don't have the answer, they'll get it for you, so that you can prepare yourself. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm kind of in a rural area,
Okay.
and do you guys offer any type of help on maybe helping us locate a wealth manager, or the CPA and all that? I just don't know. I don't know really who I can trust, and I know
That's
how
where
to
we
go
have to.
about it.
Yeah, we just have to step out of our comfort zone and start doing
Okay.
that homework and looking at some folks
Okay, dear.
and visiting with them and see if this is somebody you can work with. If this is somebody you have a connection that you feel long term is going to work.
Yeah, I just didn't want to, go face to face with somebody yet, because I don't want people to see that I'm using a walker. I know that's embarrassing. I
Do
mean,
it over the phone.
it makes you vulnerable, and
Yeah.
I just don't want. I keep on hoping my legs are going to get better any day. So,
And you can start
until
some of
then, I'll
this over
wait.
the phone.
Yeah, I think I probably could.
And Brunette Grand actually sent her questions to the guy first. She took the questions I asked, sent them to the guy she was interested in after she did her homework on them, and then she got those questions back, and then she went from there. So
That's a good idea. I could do that. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks, Wiley.
But Wiley, I'm glad you mentioned that, because Stingray, Brunette Grand, has some of the similar physical limitations that you're speaking of.
Well, hopefully mine's temporary. I mean,
Mhm.
so we're just.
So she can do it. I know
I'm
you
in
can.
the hospital for a broken ankle. Somehow I can't walk. It's a nightmare. It's been a nightmare.
Yeah.
But
So
it will
sorry.
get better. So,
Absolutely. We'll keep you in
okay,
prayer,
guys, I've
young
taken
lady.
enough of your time. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for your help.
Mm-hmm.
I may
You're welcome.
DM you, Freedom Fighter.
Okay, Stingray.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right, and I believe Felicia was next. I believe. Was it okay? All right, Felicia.
Yes, I'm next.
All right. I don't have a pen. I don't know what I did with my pen. I would have written your name down. Everyone's name
Right?
down. But sorry about that. Sorry about
No,
that.
you're okay. I don't know if somebody ever asked this or whatever, but I was wondering, do you have any books where we could further our education in investing and understanding the wealth manager and what we're investing in?
Well, I know Wiley using Investopedia.
Okay.
I do. I'll admit it.
You walk in
Invest-
Barnes and Noble and you're like, okay, I'm kind of confused what to buy here.
Right, but like, and I'm joking, but I'm serious. 'Cause like Wiley using Investopedia, everything's right at your fingertips on the internet.
Okay.
Instead of having to go and buy a book, you know.
Okay. It's called Investopedia.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, instead of like Wikipedia, it's
Uh-huh.
Investopedia, and it
Okay.
talks about anything and everything in the investment world. You have even just partially of the name, you put it in there, and it'll give you a list of things to pick up.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
I didn't read books per se.
Uh-huh.
I started talking to these guys, and I would seriously, I had a little, because the military, you always have like a little, you always have pen and paper. And I had a little
Right.
pocket notebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I would write these words. I kind of like turn my back like I was coughing or something, and write that word down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
because
I'd get home and I'd start researching this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand where he's trying to lead me. So then when I went back in, I was more knowledgeable on what he had mentioned, so I can talk about that further and say that sounds like something I want to be in. And this is how I started learning that language that they speak. And Freedom Fighter speaks this language fluently because he lived in that world. So I always pick up kind of some things from him a bit too, every now and then. But you're always going to be in that learning curve of you doing this, and that's going to be a lifetime learning, because that world changes consistently and constantly, and will forever be changing into our futures as to what's coming out for us later down the road with this new system.
Right. I agree.
But lean on those guys more than you try to feel like you have to do it all yourself.
Mm-hmm. So on this Investopedia, you could ask them questions. You could talk to them.
No, it's just like a search engine. You just type in a little bit of what you want know, and it'll come up.
Right, because I don't want to be like go in there and sit and talk to this wealth manager and pretend that I'm knowing what he's saying. I want to know. I want to understand what he's telling me.
They'll know that right off the bat. Trust me.
Right.
They will know whether you're a seasoned investor or a new investor. They see this every day, and don't try to be something you're not. Just say, I'm new at this. I want to get started with you. I don't know where to start. You answered my questions very, very diligently. I have a comfort with you. I've checked you out on FINRA. How do we start a wealth manager client relationship and moving forward into what my goals are? And they're gonna give you a piece of paper, and it's gonna ask a lot of questions about where you are and what your financial risks are. Are you a high risk? Do you like high risk, high reward, or do you like medium risk, medium reward, or low risk, low reward? And they're going to get into that, and they're going to ask you all this stuff so they get a feel of where they're going to be putting you into different programs that makes you money, and the pace that you're comfortable at making returns.
Right. Well, I want to make fast returns so I can retire.
Right. Fast returns equal fast risk.
Right. Because I know that you give us the advice. Well, you give us the common advice. I'll call it common sense. To take loans instead of paying everything off that we want to purchase, because my husband and I want to purchase a 300 unit building, apartment building, and I told him I want to pay it off. I want to buy it in cash instead of having payments. But then listening to your guys' videos and what your calls and stuff, he said, "See, I told you, let's take a loan and pay it off
Yeah,
monthly."
because then you've taken all your capital and you've got it tied up into this building that's making you money, obviously, but you could have your money working in this building and you got two revenue sources now instead of one.
Right. Okay. I see. I'm starting to understand it. The more I listen to you guys, the more I understand the business sense of what my husband's trying to tell me.
Mhm. And tell your plans to your wealth manager what you're trying to do, and they will help craft this for you so you can make the returns you want, so you can cover your cost. But a lot of those costs on that building should be covered by your renters. So, but do share your goals with them and where
Right.
you're wanting to go, and trust me, these guys will help you. They will help
Okay.
you navigate to where you want to be.
Right. And they'll be able to help me to invest my capital to
hmm
pay off the building so I could retire. That's my whole
Yeah, but
goal.
I think you're getting ahead of yourself because the building itself, when you rent it out, should be paying for itself.
Right, exactly. But I'm a person that don't like bills. So when I
hmm
charge on my credit card, I pay it completely off. I hate debt. I hate bills. I can't stand them. And my husband's the opposite. He'll just tell me, "Well, just pay off one at a time, instead of paying them all off." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute here. I don't want no debt. You're not the one paying the bill." So I'm the one that don't like to be in debt, and he just wants me to pay him, take one credit card at a time and pay it
Debt
off.
is not a bad thing. It's
Right.
how we use it.
Okay. That's the mindset I have to get into. So,
Mhm.
okay. I need to
Mhm.
listen to him a little bit more.
You want to read some great books on economics? Read Robert Kiyosaki. I think that's
Oh,
right,
okay.
isn't that? Isn't that Freedom?
Yep. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes,
Man, that
yes.
guy's philosophy, hands
Okay.
down, some of the best stuff I've ever read or
Yep.
heard.
Rich
Yep.
Dad,
And
Poor Dad.
very easy reads, like very simple, like um, very simple reading. Like it's written like a high school kid can read that stuff and understand.
But he also does videos online. He's on YouTube. I see him everywhere, and just the common sense things that he says are just common sense to me now. But I mean, they're so common sense. Kind of what I've just told you is kind of what he would be saying. Debt is not bad. It's how we use it that works for us. And this is where you want a CPA or a tax attorney and all these people in your circle of influence who knows what you're doing, and they can help you. That's the beauty of your team, is they're working for you. So you're using debt wisely. So you're using capital wisely. So you're wisely. And so you're
We are
using
Wiley too, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. I need you too.
Yeah, I got to throw my own name in there once in a while. And
shameless plug.
Yeah. So we're using our assets wisely, and that's what we want to do. But you want your assets to be working for you, not against you. That's the problem, being structured with debt properly.
Okay, very good. And then the wealth manager that I choose, because I'm doing the same thing that they did with the questions. I'm getting ready to send them to my wealth manager because I bank at two different banks. So I'm sending them both at two different banks and checking out both of them. So that they'll be able to help me also with the CPA and all of that, who they would know that's in their team, correct? The
Well,
wealth
they may not
manager?
have one directly, but they may have one they could refer you to or know about.
Okay.
Because these guys work in that world, and you say, hey, and how I found my first CPA, and I've moved from him since, but how I found the first one, I talked to my wealth manager. I said, hey, you wouldn't have a tax person you could lead me on to, or somebody in the area? I'm new to this area. I don't know anybody. You might, give me a name. He gave me a couple names, actually. And I went and talked to the first one, and I liked him, and I just went with him. But he had since retired. I've had to go find another. But don't be afraid to ask. You'd be surprised how many people these guys know in these spheres.
Right. I get it. Okay, well, I appreciate all your help. You are doing very well. May God bless you and take care of your families and everything, and may all the blessing, grace, and mercy be upon you for what you are doing and how you help the people. It's very beautiful what you are doing. I appreciate it all.
No, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Follow the bouncing ball. You can unmute.
Hello, thank you very much.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I have a comment, not so much a question, but a comment that I think is relevant to this conversation that we've had this afternoon. My heart aches for the individuals that are rethinking everything regarding, oh my gosh, I invested in this currency. Oh my gosh, I invested in this bond, and now it looks like it may end up not being what I had hoped it would be. And I posted this in the thread, but I wanted to say it here too. I am so grateful for whatever decisions I made that led me here where I am right now today in this investment with you. You know, I look back at decisions I've made, different investments or businesses or different things that I've done. Some of them were fantastic. Some of them not as good as I would have hoped, but I made decisions based on the information that I had at the time. And so, you know, the negativity that people are feeling right now in their lives about, oh my gosh, that was such a bad decision. And Wiley, I believe it's you that's made the comment, you know, you can't go broke making a profit. Am I correct in attributing that to you?
That is correct.
Yeah. And so I just feel like, you know what, I made decisions at the time. Perhaps those decisions are not going to turn out as I wanted. So as I continued to gain more knowledge and more education, I made adjustments and I made other decisions. And I believe, and this is just for myself, but I believed that I had time to make some of those adjustments as my knowledge changed and grew. And so I just people take heart, be strong, make good decisions, but understand, you know, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming the person I listened to. I'm not blaming the people that I bought it from. I'm a grown-up. I made the decision. This was the risk I took. But it's important that, hey, while I've got time to adjust, I'm trying to make better choices. So anyway, thank you for your guidance and your leadership. But like I said, my heart breaks, and I just wanted to share this. This is so exciting and such an amazing place to be in our lives, being that, you know, less than 1%. What an amazing time. So that's all I wanted to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thanks for that, because the reason I do this, and I know Freedom has his own reasons that he does this, I do it because after hearing that 90% will be broke, I don't want anybody from this thread or this site to be one of those.
Absolutely.
And if we can give you the best advice and the best information that we have at the time, we'll try to help you and help everybody as best we can, and keep the information channel going so that you can make those decisions that are best for you and your families.
Well, that is comforting, and it's been so enlightening and refreshing to be able to take of your knowledge and Goldilocks and just what's coming down here. And it's been very refreshing as opposed to, you know, where we were a few years ago. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and just know that, you know, all of the decisions and that you've all made to get to this point, no matter who you listen to, albeit you didn't see the facts and data to back up what a lot of people were saying, but now you can see the data and facts of what Goldilocks is sharing and what we're sharing. Everything you've gone through up until this point was meant for you to, you know, to go through, to make the choices, you know, so that you can get to this point. So everything, of course, they say happens for a reason, and it's so true. But now you're prepared at this moment with the proper information. And I like what you said, follow the bouncing ball, is the adjustments that you made. That's so key, is you recognize the changes you need to make and made the adjustments, and now you'll be fine based on the information. And follow the bouncing ball. I'm going to unmute you for real quick, because you are very studious. You study. And I want to give you all the kudos in the world, because you and I go back and forth in DM for a while from the other room, and you're very studious. You study a lot, and I want to give you all the credit for making your adjustments. So you deserve a pat on the back for that too, brother.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And, the adjustments, staying with the thread, doing the homework, making the time and the effort to listen to the calls, following, just following the information, it made it a lot easier to determine which adjustments needed to be made for me. And so the information is there. If, it's like, how many of us, maybe we went into a job and we're like, I don't like this profession, I want to change professions. Well, I'm not mad about the profession that I was in. It got me a paycheck for a while. It got me from point A to point B, or, maybe we were at school and we changed our major, or just something like that. But same thing here. I didn't get in on Apple in the 70s or 80s. I didn't get in on Microsoft. I didn't get in on Home Depot, but dang it, I'm here now. And I'm trying to make appropriate decision adjustments based on the information that I'm receiving today.
There you go. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that I stumbled out of the gate when I first started Profit World. I were directors, and I had to fire them. 10 people. I had to get rid of all of them because me was going to. I have related to get them. They wanted an R intel. They wanted as people like Paul. It's not what I was doing. So we have to always just an audit. Sometimes they're uncomfortable.
Right. Who's next? You have a question? Please feel free to go ahead and raise your hand. A lot of great questions, a lot of great information. Wow. Coming out in this call. Thanks to Ani, you got the ball rolling. I don't know if she's still here. But quite a few people had those questions in the room. Now we're getting them out. So who has another question? Feel free to raise your hand. Hey, Ani. Ani, you can unmute again. Did you have another question?
No, I was just saying I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
But I have my appointment made with my wealth manager.
Oh, that's right. I see you posted in the room. When is it? When is your appointment?
It would be October the 25th.
The 25th, October or the 5th?
The 25th.
25th. Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, at 10 o'clock. So.
All right. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. All right. Question. Feel free to raise your hand. Raise your hand. We will come to you. All right. I see quite a few new people that joined the room that are on the call. You are welcome to ask a question. There's no such thing as a stupid question or a silly question at all. So, and it may be a question other people have as well. So don't be shy.
Afraid of that teachable moment.
Why are they? They're not that bad, are they?
No, they're actually good.
Okay. Oh man. TSJ.
What's up, guys?
I think you need to change your name to 911. Porsche. Porsche 911. There you go.
Yes. I got one more question. What's your take on buying like large amounts of gold or silver and metals? Like, how would you post RV? Do you trust going to? Should you hold it? Yeah.
Yeah. Me personally, silver, and silver is a great option. Are you talking about which or how to? I'm sorry.
Well, I meant like just having large amounts. I know people you can sometimes buy, like, I wouldn't do it, like certificates or have a housing, house your metals somewhere. But would you physically buy like hundreds of thousands of dollars in metals and keep them, obviously. Don't want safe. Like
What my plan, and this is just personal, and there's no right or wrong, is having a good amount in physical and also digital.
Okay, cool.
Silver, particularly.
Yeah, because I plan on really buying a lot of silver and ISO coins after the RV. So just trying to think of a good way. I've been buying like American Eagles, government minted coins. I just have them silver, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to have them. It has like a different energy. But yeah, that helps. Thanks.
I don't know if Wiley, you have a...
No, it's funny he mentions that because I just had a conversation early this morning with one of my wealth guys, and he's like, "Hey, we're doing the crypto aspects now. What are your thoughts on it? You want to get in? You want to do something?" I'm like, yeah, let's set up an appointment. I'll talk to you about what I want to get into. You know, I've already got some, but it's just like, post. And if this guy's just getting into them and their firm's going to start doing this, I definitely want to let them know what I'm thinking about, where they're going. So, yeah,
right.
I mean, wealth managers are really starting to look at this stuff more seriously than they were in the past.
That's a testament of the shift moving into the new digital system that wealth management firms are now bringing to the forefront with their clients.
Well, I asked about it 3 months ago. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to have a conversation. Calls me this morning and says, "Hey, that conversation we had, we're going to do it. You want to?" I said, "Put me down on the calendar for an appointment. I want to see what you guys are thinking, where you're going, and what you're getting into, because I'd definitely like to move some of my assets there."
There you go.
Yeah, big shift from 3 months.
Yeah. In fact, I remember you mentioning that a few weeks ago that you asked several months ago, and they were just like, "Nah, not even doing it." But now that's a big change between then and now.
3 months is, one quarter, and they had a shift that big. They know. They see it.
Yep. Yeah. And just imagine there were those out there in Dinar land that were telling audiences that the QFS is irrelevant. We're not moving to a new digital banking system. That's not true. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Now look.
I remember being poo-pooed on for ISO, Basel, Protocol 20. I remember people lighting me up over that stuff, and I'm like, "Where are we at now?" I was reading Goldilocks. I was trying to share it. I was trying to tell you, and now where are they at? They're using Goldilocks' information.
Yep. And putting their own name on it.
Well, I don't like that, but it's great that they're actually putting the message out further, farther, and wider, because the more people that can learn, the better.
That's right.
Now, it's never good when we hoard information. That's never how we teach or how we learn. We have to throw it out. We have to put it out there and be giving of ourselves, regardless of the ramifications or repercussions that we get.
Absolutely right. That's right.
Yeah, I think somebody had a question in the room. I didn't mean to take the sideways there for you.
No, you're good. You're good, brother. I think it was K Ray, I believe. I saw K Ray. You can unmute.
Hi. Thank you.
Hey there. All right.
I've been noticing my cards, like store cards and things like that I purchase things through, they're going to C phrases. Things are switching behind the scenes. I've been noticing. And I have a feeling that the crypto is definitely going to be playing a huge part because of seeing C phrases. That's a sign that something is definitely changing behind the scenes. That is proof to me because I just opened an app to pay a bill, and I would prefer calling it in, but they rather do it that way, so that's what I'm doing. Its first option showed password or C phrase. They've never had this before, and I'm noticing others as well. So this is a sign things are moving in that direction. I'm actually seeing a lot of things happening behind the scenes. They actually working on the government, the school system. There's many things they're working behind the scenes we've been seeing.
Yeah.
The courthouses.
Even the healthcare system. Yeah.
A lot. The courthouse here, barely any people. I mean, it was always jam-packed. You could barely walk in it, barely any people. Social Security, a handful of people. And rude. Now, it's full and everyone's nice. It's mind-blowing what I'm seeing over here.
Mm-hmm.
but things are really happening behind the scenes from what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing coming.
Absolutely.
But a question. From what I'm gathering, which I think I am thinking right, the crypto side and all that, that is going to be our future trading to purchase stuff in the future. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I'm seeing things going right now. Am I
Yeah.
thinking wrong?
No, I wouldn't say you're thinking wrong because we're moving into a digital society, and of course, our new digital banking system. But everything is going digital, and so we're having going to blockchain technology. Everything is going to be digital. We got digital banking. Um, with our phones, all the banking that you can do on your phone. You don't have to necessarily go into the bank per se. Even when for your doctor's appointments, you can do virtual. Everything is we're moving into a whole new shift in society in the digital world, and fortunately, we're blessed enough to be, especially through what Goldilocks is sharing with us, the new banking system. We're ahead. We're a part of the less than 1% who's aware of this. So we're very fortunate. And you're absolutely right. We're moving into a digital space,
I
a digital way of
agree.
living. Mm-hmm.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There was something I wanted to share.
Do you have another
Oh
question?
gosh. No, but I wanted to share something that I've come across out here in the process of the future showing fruition, that I came across, and I can't remember. I just lost the memory of it.
Oh,
But
it's
it's
okay.
more proof,
It'll
more and
come
more
back to
proof
you.
coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no worries. It'll come back to you. You'll remember it. All
Thank
right.
you for clarifying that. And I
You're welcome.
truly appreciate everything you all have done and everything you have shared with everyone. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Yes, something you want to add, Wiley? I think you
I
were.
did, and I don't want to get too far out over the
Go ahead, brother.
skis on this or
Mm-hmm.
ahead of everybody. Is that we're eventually going to cashless. It's going to be a while, but that's where
You're
where
right.
they're taking us.
That's exactly right.
Because I don't know if people understand the billions of dollars it takes to produce cash and to continually keep new cash in supply. So as we keep going digital and we move down this digital path, you're going to see more adoptability. And then once everybody gets into it, you're going to see less and less and less cash as we go along. But I think some of the things I saw was way out in the future, next 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep, that's it. That's where we're going. Well, we're halfway there now. Probably further than we realize. But especially when we see the institutions.
Yeah, especially when we see them doing it. But you got old dogs like me that still like to have a little paper in their pocket,
Yeah, so you can light some cigars with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only do that with the worthless stuff. Well, I guess my fiat dollar's worthless now, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, right. All right. Okay, I didn't realize that we are almost at 3 hours. Folks, we are going to end this call. I didn't realize time just flies, I guess, when you're having fun, as they say. But also, we got to make sure our editing team is not too overwhelmed with having to work on this impromptu call. But if there's I don't think we have any more questions. Well, we probably do. But folks, we're going to jump off now, if you're okay with that, Wiley.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and I think this was kind of jam-packed and a lot of information. The call is recorded. So, folks, we hope that this was very helpful and insightful and informative. And we appreciate you. We love you. Everyone, be well. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. GCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RV GCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.